My name is Carson. Welcome to Thrifty Garage, a channel where we do everyday repairs, how-tos, and reviews. And in today's video, I'm going to take you through the build on this chicken coop. This is an 8-foot by 8-foot chicken coop build, and the whole goal with this was to use minimal materials. For the sheeting on the side, we have 5 sheets of sheeting going all the way around, 4-foot by 8-foot sheets. We've got 2 4-foot by 8-foot sheets for the base, and we've got 2 4x4 posts, 8-foot long. So really minimal build on the roof here. We've got 12-foot roofing panels, 24 inches, 5 of those pieces right there. So really tried to go kind of just really strategic planning as far as materials are concerned. And from here we'll jump into the video and show you how we built this. Currently I'm working on building the base. This will be 8-foot by 8-foot. So we've got 2 8-foot 2x4s on the far ends. These 2x4s have been cut down. And I'm just using scrap wood, whatever I've got laying around. So I was able to cut down 3 for these 3 sides. And then this middle section, I'm just going to scab together some pieces. And the reason I'm doubling up that center beam is because I'm going to lay 2 4-foot by 8-foot sheets, one here and one here. And so I want to be able to do a full overlap on this edge. And then I'm actually probably going to do 2 more sheets of plywood going the opposite direction, just so it's double thick on the floor, really sturdy. We've got 2-foot centers on these across here. So these are what, 45 inches across there. And then I'm just getting ready to do this extra section right here. So for these, I'm going to screw, I'll pull these away. I'll be able to screw through here into those studs. And then once those 3 joists are hung, we can attach this to here, attach it to the ends, and then lastly I'll put that last section on there, and that'll button up this base nicely. That was loud. So the reason I'm building the base here first is because, again, this is going to be 8-foot by 8-foot when it's done. That way when we put up our walls, they'll be 8-foot wide all the way around square, and then this will give me a place to put my corner pieces. So my 4x4 corner posts will go right in here, and I'll lag bolt right into the sides here. And so this will kind of determine all of my posts. And so I can build the whole structure off of this frame, and this will be light enough I can carry it outside and still be able to work inside the garage here with some little bit of heat. And yeah, that's the step we're at right now. Okay, getting this base ready for the coop. What I did here is I started out in the low spot, dug it out, tamped it in place, got my level, and then I'm using my frame here to just check and reference all my spots. Right now I'm working on these last 2. These are both about half an inch high, so I'm just taking them down a little bit with the pick here, picking them out, and then hand tamping with the tamper here, getting that tamped out. I'll drop my block in, and that one should be good to go. And then we'll put this one, drop this down about a half an inch, and then I'll double check the level again, and then we should be good to elevate our frame off the ground. Okay, we're all leveled out now with our base here. Everything's set. Now we got to make sure it's square with the yard. Go along this fence line, and there's no guarantee this fence line is perfect, but kind of go off those things. And you could certainly set your coop at this height if you desired, or whatever, building a shed or whatever. And these blocks are designed for that, but what we'll be doing is actually we'll be putting a 4x4 post in that corner here, and we'll do 4-foot high post. So this coop will actually be elevated 4 feet off the ground, and that will give us, on top of this fence, on the outside of the fence, ability to access the eggs and get the eggs out without having to going in to the run. So that'll be really nice. And I guess with this, we'll have a main run. It's attached to the coop that we can leave them in there for 24 hours if we need to, or during the day we can let them out into this larger run, which will be really nice. Just a fenced area, 4-foot chain link fence. So with these blocks, like I said, you can use these, and you just set these braces inside here and use those as your lower piece. I just wanted to get it off the ground, give the chickens a place to go underneath, and have that ability to walk and run around there. And we'll have the open run there with a taller section that we can walk in. So now we've just, like I said, we got to get squared up. These blocks, we're going to have to move this one this way. Might have to excavate a little bit further and compact this further here. And we'll just get these all in place, get them all perfectly squared up with our 4x4 posts on these corners. We'll go cut the posts. They're currently 8-footers. Cut them, and then once we cut them, we can stick them in place and raise up our pad here. Okay, we got everything moved in place, right level. All these corners are ready for their posts. Again, we'll just extend this up 4 feet off the ground, and then the post will sit right in there, and then we'll screw right into this guy and put it at our height. And then I guess the only thing you can do from here is to do 3-4-5 method. Make sure you have a right angle in these corners. This structure is built in the manner which it shouldn't be out of square, really too bad at all. But 3-4-5, measure 3 foot on one side, 4 foot on the other side, and then 5 feet on the diagonal. And as long as all those 3 points line up, this is a 90-degree angle. If it's off, then adjust it so it all fits. Okay, I apologize, it's getting kind of dark. Just finished putting this up. Again, 4 feet off the ground, 4-foot posts, and using these little lag bolts going through here. First thing I did was actually go through with just regular screws, 2.5-inch screws, and just raised it off the ground. Got 2 legs up, and then you got the other 2, got them close, took the level around, and then just fixed it all. Made all of these sit nice and flush at the top. Now we're all good to go. We're all set up on our legs. I think it's pretty close to level side to side, but I'll have to come back and I'm going to put braces along here so that just doesn't tip over and shear, as well as to make sure it's perfectly vertical. But yeah, good job for today. We'll wrap up right there. It's a long, slow process, but it's going to work out pretty well. Take you around this side and kind of show you what the plan is here. So plan is here is to have 2 big doors that open up to get into the coop to access our eggs. So that's where our laying boxes will be. They'll be recessed into the coop, and then we'll have a door on either side that allows us to get in and clean out the coop, and then we'll also have a door for them to walk out and go to ground level. And you can see it's pretty cold out. You can see my breath in the light here. Just finished putting our braces on. Gonna put in some 4-inch screws. So these braces are cut on a 45, screwed in that way, leveled it out beforehand. So we got all 4 corners leveled out. And then these braces, I went the opposite direction because those ones I had the 2x4 to brace into, and these it's a longer span. I didn't want to have a huge angle going across there. So I cut these on a 45 in a different direction. Went through this way with a 2.5-inch screw. Now I'm going to go through this way with a 4-inch screw, and then on the back side here we just have 2 more screws. And we got our lower pieces here. This is what we'll tie in our hardware cloth to, 4 foot down, and then we'll do a little apron underneath the ground, keep any critters out. Yeah, it's all firmed up now. Nice and sturdy base. And now we can go back through and remove our screws that were temporary, and then I'll drill back through. We'll drill these and lag bolt in these corners, probably between 2 and 4 lags on each corner to tie into our post. And we'll put our sheeting on. We've got 4 foot by 8 foot sheeting. We'll run them this way. It's one there, and we'll have a nice base to screw into. We got the double 2x4 right there we'll connect into. Okay, I've got the top on all screwed down. We've got lags. I left that screw in there, but everywhere else I replaced them. So we've got these longer lags going in there, 2 per corner, well, 4 total. Decided if one failed, then at least we'd have a second one there. And we screwed down all these screws on the top, 1.25 inches I think it was. So all that's good to go, and this thing is sturdy as all get out. It's no moving it. So now the next thing is to frame up our walls, and then we'll do the sides and the roof. Okay, we're mid-build on this. Bought this 14-footer 2x4. We've got it marked out at 10 foot and 12 foot for the roof spacing. Per linear foot, this was the cheapest option when you look at 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, 16 foot, 14 foot, different lengths. So I've got my 8 footers right there. Here's my cutting station, and working on the back wall here. And this stuff's kind of hard for me to explain because it's all just kind of in my head. I kind of just piece it together, and I'm going for the least amount of materials as possible. This back wall will be doing 2 foot spacing because this back wall will be supporting the roof all the way across. The sides, I'm actually doing 4 foot spacing. So right here, a panel will overlap, and so we'll have a wider piece there, so that overlap has a good place to screw into. But our panel boards, we just need to screw in on this side and screw in on that side, and they should be pretty well secured, especially with the height we're going here. We're not going a full 8 foot sheet here. So what we've got going on here is we'll actually be overlapping. This piece is just shy of 8 feet, so the other board for our walls will be going right here. So this will actually overlap a little bit. So the plan with this is we've got this angle cut here. This piece I will toenail in on that end, and then on this end will be our header. So we'll have a little bit of a header on an angle for our roof going all the way across here. It'll go on that board and that board, and then all the way across. So these 2 edge boards will hang off the end a little bit, and those will be screwed into the corner joints on the other piece. So we'll kind of leave those off. Right now I'm just securing these 2 verticals. So screwing in this guy, screwing in that guy, again 2 foot spacing, and then I'll be screwing this one in from underneath side, and then these other ones we'll just have to toenail on the sides because that the side to side on these will have to depend on where those walls sit. Again, sorry if this is a little bit confusing. This is just how my brain works, how I build, and I always just piece together what I've got. Obviously I had to go buy all these materials, but a lot of this project I'm using, I'm trying to use materials wisely. Actually the roof angle on this is all intentional. So this back piece will be the scraps of the front half. So it should be 2 4x8 sheets will cover the front and back, and 2 4x8 sheets will cover the left and right side. So we only need 4 sheets of siding on this. The roof obviously will go a little bit longer. The roof we're going to be doing, I think my wife decided we'll be doing the 12 foot roof, and I was looking at I designed it for a 10 foot roof, but we can obviously increase that for a 12 foot. So everything is with materials in mind, and then just reusing as many pieces as we can, and building this way kind of allows us to do that. Okay, here we got our first wall up. These top pieces are just temporarily braced to kind of hold the shape. Once I put my sidewalls on, we'll kind of make sure we're level and square and all that. And actually, my wife decided we're going to go 12 foot on this, so we'll change that out. But just a quick and easy wall right there. We're doing a 4 foot gap. I'm going to try this span, see if that works out. I did buy the thicker sheeting on this, so that should help. We'll span that distance. Just trying to be material conscious on this build. Materials are super expensive right now. These 2x4s are 2x4 by 8 footers are $6 right now. So adds up real quick. I think we're probably about $1,000 into this build right now, and that includes the roofing for this, but that's just for the coop area. It does not include anything for the run. I guess these 2 blocks are for the run, and then I've got 2 more 4x4 posts for the run. But other than that, I haven't bought anything for the run, and we're using existing hardware cloth that we have, and we'll probably need some additional materials too. So I bought 20 2x4s plus probably 4 or 6 2x4 scraps that I had, and then we got 2 4x4 posts here, and then these sheets of plywood are actually repurposed as well. So for the landscape business, you can see here we ran tracks on these. These are what I use to protect clients' lawns from getting damaged from tracked equipment going in and out. So these were in good condition still. Reused these. We've lit fireworks off on these and a couple different things. So these have been multi-purposed again, but they'll be a good use there. Bought 5 14 footers 2x4s, and then we've got 5 sheets 24-inch wide by 12 feet long roofing. So we should be pretty close with all those materials. Have not bought any screws either. So here we got this wall on this side. We'll slide this new one right into place here. Again, we'll have a little bit of extra room right here for a 2x4 on this side, and then on this end we're going to be putting this 2x4 right here, and then we've got enough room on top there that we'll be able to put a 2x4 sideways that all these roofing pieces will sit on. And then on top of that piece, we'll have another 2x4 going the opposite direction that will prevent anything from getting in this side, or maybe even seal this off with some hardware cloth. We'll see how we end up doing that. That's the plan. So we'll go ahead and take off this piece, and we'll screw this piece down. We'll put in this corner piece, and then that'll sure up this side for the night. We'll have a nice 90-degree angle here, holding everything solid and sturdy for the night. Okay, there she is, all wrapped up. That piece will go right here when we do this next section. This will be where all of our nesting boxes are, so we can access it on the outside of the fence. And this side is all ready to go up. We could put on siding now, but I'll probably wait for that until we're all done with the roof. And then what we'll do is we'll build the front half and the back half, and we'll attach our roof joists all the way across. And this metal roofing that we're doing, it's gonna be better to screw. Well, we'll see where the 2-foot spacing is. Yeah, it's gonna be, because I think you want one every 6 inches or so. So we're gonna want a board going all the way across. Obviously, we'll have a board down here, capped in this, and then we'll have one probably here, just to keep anything out of here. And then we'll decide where we want to screw into on these. And then this board will be for our rain gutter. We'll do a rain gutter that runs over into a 55-gallon drum, which will be connected to our waterers. So it'll be hopefully pretty self-reliant. We get enough water here, rain, and if we'll connect all this with the run and the coop, we'll have another 8 feet, 16 feet, however far I decide to go with the run. That'll be fully roofed in, and then that'll be really nice to have this catching all that water, and then we can just use it and turn it right back into water for the chickens. So that's where we're at for tonight. Making good progress. Got the floor in. Had lunch up here with the kiddos today, and yeah, it's gonna be a chicken coop. Okay, we've made quite the progress on the chicken coop. Try and get you caught up to date. These sheets, cut them in half, so that'll be the back panels. This will be the front panels, and then those panels will be cut for the sides. And then here we're working on the last side to put up. This will be the side with the chicken doors on it. So we'll have two big swinging wide open doors, kind of short and long doors. Here in the middle, we'll be having a vertical brace that'll go up, same as these, kind of on an angle, and tie into our roof there. And then this top bar right here will actually form our nesting boxes. So these nesting boxes will have kind of an angle, so the entry will be a little bit shorter. They'll be about 12 by 12 by 12 in the front, and then they'll go up a little bit higher in the back. And then they can, they'll be able to roost and whatnot on top of this bar, on top of this nesting area. But wanted to make this extra wide right here so we can get in here and easily, once we get these doors open, be able to put our hands in here, grab the eggs out, and have a nice big opening there. And this vertical 2x4 here is simply there just to hold all of the pine and nesting materials in place, so when you open the door, it doesn't fall out. So that'll be about 5 inches off the ground. So that'll be, those nesting boxes will be nice and full of that. So I'm gonna go install this on the coop. Like I said, this is the last wall to put up, and then I'll have to measure this vertical piece and cut that to fit and set that in place. But this thing should be close to square, but it might be a little bit out of square, so I wanted to install it first, get everything connected to each other before I make that final measurement. And then before I put any of the siding on, I'm gonna go ahead and build the whole roofing structure. We're gonna be using these 14 footers. I'm gonna cut them down to 12 footers, and I've got some 12-foot roofing panels to put on top. So that's the plan right now. Okay, I picked up some trim. So I needed the dimensions of that. Here is my roof. I'm gonna build this into 2 pieces. We'll kind of build the left and the right separately and then attach them on the roof, just so they're manageable to carry. And my plan here is we've got 101 inches from this end to that end. So basically that's 8 feet wide, plus the pitch of the roof I've got. Will be outside dimension to outside dimension. And that means the wall will come straight up and then end right here. And then these will kind of go at an angle away, be a nice flush, smooth fascia. Keep any bugs and critters from crawling in there. You could put some wire mesh right there to kind of keep stuff from getting inside there. But I just want to keep that nice and secure. If I'm worried about ventilation, I'll cut holes in the walls and do it that way. So kind of here's my game plan. We'll screw these right along this edge here. I'll put another 2x4 on the end here, and then we'll cap it with the trim. And then so here we've got, with the 2x4 and the end cap from end to end will be 12 feet long, and we are 10 feet wide. Again, with a trim piece on the outside here, trim piece on the outside there, will be 10 feet wide. So we'll have enough. We got 5 sheets of the roofing tin, 24 inches wide. So that'll cover this whole thing over the coop. We'll have a foot overhang on each side. We'll have about 4 feet overhang total on the back end, and the top end kind of going for a more modern architectural design. So the top roof's going to hang out quite a bit more. I guess you can kind of see here. This will be essentially the front overhang plus our trim boards there, and then this will be our back overhang, so not quite as much. So I'm going to get to screwing this together, and then on these pieces that are in the middle, these end ones, I'm going to make sure they're all lined up, but on these ones, I'll alternate them a little bit on each side of center, and that'll help give me a place to put in screws securely. And then part of the reason for doing the layout this way, these boards will act as our support. So they're basically sitting on the back wall and sitting on the front wall and floating in the middle. The edge walls will be supported, but the main place that the roofing tin will be supported, these are about 2.5 feet, a little bit over 2.5 feet wide. So those pieces aren't going to fit there wide enough, but even if you had braces every 2 feet, they would kind of be bowed. So the main goal here is to have places where we can run screws across the roofing and have a place to secure to. So we'll have the top place to secure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to secure the roof with screws going all the way across the whole length. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you're picking up on how this is all coming together. Okay, so I've about got these pieces together. So we've got 1, 2, 3 pieces together, working on the 4th, and then we'll cap this one. And the way I'm doing this is I'm actually putting these screws on an angle because these boards are going to line up exactly. So when I come back through this board to go on the other one, I'll come at an angle. So kind of have 2 parallel screws going different directions. These ones I'm going to have going straight through because you can see here we'll be alternating. So these screws come in this way, and then these screws I'll be able to go back this way through there. And then just on this far end again here, going at an angle. So all these ones will be at an angle, going that way, and then we screw back into this one next to it, going at an angle this way. Both that end and this end, we've got our top header plate that we'll be able to screw up through. The 2x4 is at an angle, so we'll just go straight up in to these boards, and it'll work perfect to hold down the whole roofing structure. Okay, we're all screwed together. We've got this in 2 separate pieces. Split right down the middle here. So another thing that I remembered while I was putting this together, why I did it this way. Usually there's a few different reasons why I do things the way I do them. So one thing I'm doing here is I'm floating this off the edge a foot. So the end of the wall will be about right here somewhere. And I've designed this to where this is going to ride on that header. So this piece is not just going to be free floating here. It actually is going to be supported in these different spots, kind of in the middle here. And then this weight will be spread out there. And we'll tie this in here with a 2x4 on the end, which will kind of firm that whole end up and prevent those pieces, those end pieces from wanting to break off. So this will be a really sturdy roof design. Again, trying to keep materials low. I could have done 2x6s on this, went 2x4s, but tried to make sure I gridded this out in a way where we're going to be structurally sound and it's going to survive. Ultimately, if we have high winds or we have hail or whatever else, this might get damaged. And if that does happen, we'll repair it there. Don't expect a huge snow load here. Really, the biggest concern in this spot is going to be that branch falling off the big oak tree above it and landing on this roof. So hopefully this will survive any minor branches that fall or anything that the weather throws at it. But again, just a few little things that I'm planning into this that I try to incorporate and make it as sturdy and strong as possible. Okay, here's where we're at with the current design. Just ignore this roofing board that's going to come out. Ended up going with a different design on that. But front door here, big front door, access to the coop, clean it out when we need to. Okay, here's a look with the roof in place, just a few screws in here. And this is kind of what I was talking about. So our wall will come up right here and terminate right underneath these boards. And then we'll just have the solid fascia on the inner area. And then we'll have an outer fascia out here that the rain gutter will attach to. But it'll be a nice clean look. It'll just go right from the siding boards right into this 2x4. Just a nice clean look. And then here on the end, that's where it just floats out the end. And up on the top end here, the same type of thing where we've got our roof sticking out. And then our paneling will go right up here again. And we'll just have this little bit of fascia that's exposed. Could come in here and put a fascia up underneath here, but it's just a chicken coop. There's no reason to do that. And after we paint it and do all that, it'll actually look really nice anyways. Okay, here's our two side panels. Unfortunately, I did my math wrong. In theory, this works. In reality, this doesn't work. But, so you know what we're going on here. 2'8", 5'4", 2'8", 5'4", gives us our roof pitch, gives us one side panel. So this panel will go upright. And I thought I was gonna be able to turn this panel around and use it on the other side. Not gonna be the case because it'll be backwards. What I can do is I can inverse this cut a diagonal here, cut out this little triangle. That piece will be scrapped for another project. I'll have to go get one more sheet of this and mimic that piece, and then I'll have enough to do the whole thing. So I was hoping to do this with 4 sheets of siding. In the end, we'll do it with 5 sheets of siding, which is still pretty good, all things considered. And that also came with 2 sheets for the base. So a little bit disappointed in myself here. I didn't think that all the way through, but that was the kind of the main theory of the design, was to save on this siding, and ultimately I am. Okay, here is our egg door wall. I put it up on the coop temporarily, and I pulled it back down. The reason I put it on is I drew in our temporary lines. So we've got a vertical brace right here going down the center, which is where both doors will close. I also have a door beneath them, or a 2x4 beneath them right there. And so what I want is I want the door to be a little bit oversized so that it will overlap halfway up this board. There's also a 2x4 below this horizontally. So there's plenty of support and meat below here. And then this will have a nice face to close up against and be nice, tight, and secure. And on these ends with the hinges, I ended up bringing it in about 1/8 of an inch, just so we had enough clearance with trim and everything else right there in that vicinity. And then on the middle 2x4 here, I pulled it in about 1/2 inch. So again, we'll have a little bit of a sill along here, but we still have enough meat here in the center. And the plan with this is to cut out, we'll cut out the doors individually, and then I'm probably gonna trim them out a little bit wider, so when the doors close, they'll seal on the inside, but they'll also have trim on the outside that seals up nice, and a little bit of an area, 1/2 inch, where I can put in weather stripping or anything along that edge. And that'll also keep this really thin section. If we keep that attached to these big boards, that'll give it a little bit more structural rigidity. So hopefully that'll survive. And then this will be where we put our latches. We'll have a sliding bolt latch go into this middle 2x4 stud that's going up our vertical support. And that 2x4 stud will go all the way up and give us plenty of support to attach that to and give that big piece a structure. We'll have hinges, 2 hinges on each side, a latch in the middle, and I'll probably cut a piece of plywood to stick in the middle to just firm these up also. Okay, I kind of rushed putting the roof on, so I didn't film much of that, but here it is with the roof. We've got these doors cut out and put in place, the hinges. Still need to frame those out. Here we're dripping off the roof. See how well our drip edge is working. I was a little bit worried about it running off here. Long-term plan here is to actually put a rain gutter, and I'll peel this out so it'll drip into the rain gutter, and then I'll put a 55-gallon drum here to collect that water. But I quickly slapped on the roof yesterday because I knew it was going to storm. So I've got all of these panels are secure. These last 2 are not fully secure. In fact, you can see them popping up a little bit there. We're going to go inside and see how well it's holding up. Still have to do trim around the edges here. Gonna wait to do that until we've got our hardware cloth around the base. There's our big main door. And here's that last sidewall that I need to put in. A little bit of water getting in this side. Might be kind of loud in here. But I'm most worried about this side leaking. The storms usually kind of come from this direction. So I'm worried about water getting in there. But this storm's, as you can see, is kind of coming in from this side, which I don't have a wall on right now. I think everything in here looks like we're doing well. Very dry in here, no leaks. Kind of loud in here with tin roof. Hope the chickens don't mind. I did brace up these ends, but ended up not bracing these ends. We'll see if I need to improve something there for predators. Maybe run some hardware cloth from here out to that outer edge. Just something to keep something from climbing up and getting in here. And then again, that top header has them as well. Use these little foam pieces. Probably wasn't really needed in my application, but they were really hard to line up, and they stuck to the wood. I wish the adhesive was actually on the metal side so I could have put them on the panels and then put them in place. So here's another area I was a little worried about, and it is doing it, but the water is running down this front fascia into there. So I don't know how to keep it from doing that. This is just a slant roof. But yeah, I got it all trimmed out with the 6-inch trim around these edges. I think that turned out pretty nice. And then we'll do 4-inch trim around the doors, windows, and around the sides and the corners. So we're really excited how it's coming out. And we ordered our chicks. They should be here middle of February? No, middle of March, I believe.
Can you hear him?
That's a full. You got the whole handful.
Okay, today I'm back working on the chicken coop, finishing this up, putting this door back together, getting this wall put up. We've got chicks in the brooder and they're getting too big, so we got to put this wall up. Took off that panel there from right there, took off these 2 metal panels that were on the roof. Just had a few screws holding them in just to keep the weather out, but just cut this piece of wood and go right here. We're gonna run it up across the top here to there. This one's super loose, so we'll do the same thing we did over there. We've got a timber up there holding it together, and this middle support. That side's pretty secure, and that even has 2 doors in it, so that's working really well. See, I can get this side buttoned up, get the door installed, and put hinges on it, get it locked up, get it nice and secure. Those doors are working great right now, and then this will give us room to put the chicks in. We got more chicks than we expected. They threw a couple extra in. We did lose one, but and they're running out of space in our temporary brooder, so gotta get this ready for them. Okay, just working on this hardware cloth. Got it notched out. Gonna put it up in the rafters here, tuck it inside and screw it in from the inside, and then screw it to all of these external 2x4s just to the end here. And then this end, we've got that ridge cap, so that's protected. The base is protected, so we'll do one on each side. This will add a nice little air vent going over, and then it'll keep any critters outside of there. I guess I should mention we have walls up. This panel is finally cut and installed. That was our 5th panel we had to install. So this used 1, 2, 3, 4. So the front 2 pieces, scraps went on the back. So those were 2 pieces. 2 pieces on the side, and then because these sides are not inverted entirely, we had to get a 5th panel. So 5 panels wrapped this whole thing, and that was kind of the design around the whole thing, was just making sure everything fit. We have 2 4x8 sheets of plywood on the bottom, and we got the door on. Don't mind this guy over here. Got the door installed. Got the kids in here playing. This has been a little playhouse for a while. Get our tin roofing, and we'll have our boxes right here for the egg boxes. So these are our nesting box doors. We got 2 of them here. and they just swing out. We've got some barrel bolt latches here. Our nesting boxes are not built yet. We'll build those in the future. But the whole goal with this was to make it quick and easy, accessible from outside of the chicken run area. And we'll build some extra seating here so the kids can come up off the ground and get in here and get the eggs. But really like having this elevated above the ground so the chickens can be underneath and out of the elements and out of the rain and still have some food to forage down there. Here's our doors here, and then we've got the big front door. So here's our main front door. Wanted to make this as big as possible so we can get in and access it and maintain it. We'll have our wood chips inside where they have a deep litter method inside that we can clean out occasionally, and just lots of access in case we need to get inside for whatever reason. Up top here we have a header that goes all the way across the top, and that keeps any predators outside. And then down the edges we ran hardware cloth so that nothing can get in, but there's a good airflow with the cross breeze. So on the front of the coop and the back of the coop we have these 2x4s on the headers, and then going up we have this hardware cloth that goes the whole length all the way up to the top. And then on the inside here we just wrap those around and screw them down there, keep it nice and secure. Well, thanks for watching our chicken coop build. Hope you enjoyed it. We love doing this stuff. We love having baby chicks and chickens and laying hens, and it's really exciting to have this built. It's ready to house them. Obviously we have some other improvements to make. We've got hardware cloth, some extra security around the exterior, but as far as the inside, it's secure and ready to go. We're ready to put our baby chicks inside. And thanks for watching this video. If you want to check out more, subscribe to the channel, and I'm sure we'll have more chicken related content. Thanks for watching Thrifty Garage, and we'll see you on the next one.
When we get home.